Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you're watching this interview anywhere else but within our private Facebook community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, definitely come check us out. We'd definitely love to have you. That community was put together specifically for coaches, consultants, and service providers who are serious about getting up to that 6 and 7 figure level. So I know right now we have about 6,500 members in there. So if you're a coach, consultant, service provider, and you're not already a part of it, definitely come check us out. And today I want to introduce you to one of our community members, Matthew. Welcome, Matthew.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, you're welcome. So Matthew, tell the members of the community what it is that you do.
I'm a coach. I'm a certified health, wellness, and life coach, and I'm a motivational speaker.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So what got you going down this path?
That's a very good question, actually. Okay, do you want the long version or the short version?
Let's go. Let's start with the long version.
Okay, let me just go back like close to 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the doctor to have a routine checkup. And the real reason is I was so big and so heavy, I couldn't stand anymore. So I was telling the doctor, Doc, you got to do something for my knees. I can't stand anymore. There should be some sort of surgery or something where you put some stuff in my knees and it makes me stronger. So anyways, after doing a lot of tests and stuff, I woke up after a couple of hours of testing and I see the doctor stretching his hand in front of my face and doing this. And for a while, I thought he's a funny doctor. He's trying to high five me or do something. And he's just trying to tell me why he's charging so high. So like, okay. So he goes like, these are 5 months you still have to live.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? He said, yeah, you have 5 months to live and you haven't been right with your health and you have been checking on yourself for anything and you have a severe inflammation inside of you and go enjoy your life. So at that moment, like if I take this moment and I go back like 20 years before that, what I've been doing, I've been planning for that moment actually. And I've been working like crazy, like 18 hours a day. I've been asking for jobs that no other human being can do. And I would step in and just do it all over the world. So at that moment, the only thing I could remember or I could see in front of my eyes are my kids, my wife, and all these moments that I couldn't be with them, I couldn't join them during these occasions or moments. I couldn't see anything else. So at that moment, I said, okay, what are my choices? He's like, okay, it's like 50-50 surgery. It's either you make it or you don't. Okay, fine. So I'll take the chance. And at that moment, I was alone and my family were away. So I took the surgery without telling anyone, just by telling my lawyer to write my will. And at that moment, I had already my company up and running with 5 offices around the world, from Dubai to India to France to the States. And I just took the surgery and it took me close to 8 months to recover and 10 hours to get out of the ICU and then 4 days in the hospital. But that moment when I took the surgery, I said, okay, I need to change my whole life. I need to change everything. I need to take everything I learned for the last 20 years of being an entrepreneur and a businessman and a consultant for everyone and just giving advices here. And I need to do this now for myself. And I need to change people's life. So after I recovered, I got certified as health and wellness coach and as a life coach. And I started sharing my story. And I saw that my story is inspiring others, especially that a lot of my colleagues who are doing like I used to do, just ignoring their health, ignoring everything and focusing on their career, just enjoying the fact that they're in the center of the universe and everything is just going around them. And at that moment, you don't really think about anything else. You just want to feed your pride and your ego and just be happy with it. So today what I'm doing as a coach, I'm helping business people and top executives who most of them are my colleagues and I know them, to restore balance to their life without compromising their career. So what we're saying here, you don't have to lose your companies and start from zero, or lose your family or your health or anything else. Just without compromising this whole thing, keep on doing whatever you're doing. Just take this first step by acknowledging that you need help and ask for help, because it takes real strength to ask for help, and not weakness like I used to think, and like many other people think that by asking help it's a weakness. It's not. So this is what I'm doing today as a coach and a consultant, speaking the same language of business people, talking to them by numbers, by bottom line and everything else. But this time talking about their health, relationship, and their whole habits. So this is in a nutshell what I do.
Yeah. That's a pretty inspiring story right there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So in essence, so when you how would that shift when you said you got to a place of you felt sick, you went through surgery, you do all these different things. When you got out and you're like, okay, I'm back to normal, was it just like an instant? Did you just know exactly that things had to change and it was just like you just did right away? Did it take you some time? How did that come about?
It took me some time to think, what am I gonna do? I mean, I knew that I wanted to change people's lives, and because I made this promise before going to the surgery, I knew that I need to change my life first. I need to be next to my family. I need to become healthier. I don't have the chance now. I don't have the option, excuse me, now. So this is my chance to do it. But to be honest with you, for a while, I was just sitting there and thinking what to do. And you know, when you have worked over 20 years in some field, this is your comfort zone and you don't want to change it. You just want to stay there. And I thought many times of going back to Dubai, because I used to be, my head office was there, and just working again out of the whole Gulf region and coming every now and then to see my family in the States. But the only thing that stopped me is that promise that I made. And after 5 or 6 months, I saw a coach, and he inspired me. Actually, I was just telling him I asked for help myself, and I went to see a coach. And he told me, listen, you don't have to just throw away everything that you had before. You just drag it with you and take it with you, and just it will make you stronger, and start helping people that need this thing. And this is when the idea of starting my own process, my proprietary process, and I started writing my process, and I got tested, and I went through quantitative and qualitative and testing and all kind of testing. And this is the test, and this is the process that says it's called move. And you just move your whole comfort zone with you. You don't just sit there, because it's only human to feel defensive and to sit in your comfort zone whenever you're facing anything unusual. And it's been great. It's been, I mean, I've been having good success with my clients.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And you said you also do a bit of speaking as well, too, right?
I do. I'm a motivational speaker, mainly in corporate events, since my niche is top executives and business people. But sometimes I get asked to talk in other places, like community, like in our community here where I live, they have these big meetings, and sometimes in other places they ask me to speak. But honestly, I did not plan to become a speaker. And I realized that I have an accent even, and most of the people start questioning this. I'm like, for the first 15 minutes, oh, where is he from? And I just tell them right away, it's the French. It screwed my accent because I lived all over the world and my first language is French. So that's the thing. But yeah, about a couple of years ago, I was speaking in front of my friend, and it's been a while. I haven't seen him, and he's a big shot VP and stuff. And I was talking to him, and next to him, there was the CEO of the company. And I didn't know that. And he heard me talking. And after this, he came to me. He said, I'm inspired by your story. Could you please come and speak in our corporate event and focus on the theme of being healthy, and the fact that if you are healthier, you can give more, and you can be more productive at work, at home, and everywhere. And this is what I thought, okay, I have nothing to be ashamed of. I don't want to hide my story anymore. I'm going to go out and say it, and just put the picture there when I was 400 pounds and now, and what happened to me, and how afraid I was lying on this operating table, and all of the whole 9 yards, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So now I guess, how do you get someone, just like I realize as entrepreneurs, right? So one, most individuals who are entrepreneurs, when they get started, it's like just the grind. It's like, when I do this, then when I make enough money, then I'll do this. Or when I get to this point, then I'll take care of my health and stuff like that. How do you get someone to prioritize? I guess number one is, do you feel like that's kind of like an addiction? Do you feel like the bulk of entrepreneurs, business owners are that way? Well, what are your thoughts?
It is actually. It's a very good question. It is an addiction, and it's somehow feeding the pride, because when we all start working, we start for a pure objective, and this objective is to do something and to reach somewhere, and then it shifts towards the pride. And in one of my talks, I said about I talk about it, from pure to pride. And this is exactly what it is. You start with one thing, then you can't stop. You're happy with the attention. You're happy with the acknowledgement you're getting. You're happy with all the success, with the money you're getting in the bank and everything. And I tell you something, funny thing. Growing up, my dad was never at home. He was always away working. And I remember every time he used to call and used to sit next to these old phones waiting for the phone to ring, and then the operator would transfer and stuff. So every time I was like 7 or 8 years old, I remember the last time I asked him this question, actually not the last time, but I said, Dad, when are you coming back home? He said, I'm away because I need to make sure you live a decent life, but I'll be home in 2 years. And I was 9 years old. Now, the last time I asked him this question was a couple of days ago on Father's Day. I called him to say Happy Father's Day. And I told him, Dad, isn't it enough? When are you going to be back home? Not to see me, because now I'm grown up, but to see my kids. So my kids now, I have a teenager, I have 16-year-old, and they barely know you, both of them. And I have 8 and like 9 and 16 almost. And he goes like, in 2 years. So it is an addiction somehow. And if no one tells them when to stop and how to stop, they cannot stop. But it's very tricky, because coaching top executives is very hard. And getting him to commit to do something like this, the first thing that will pop in his head is a fear or a concern that tells him, you're going to jeopardize your career. You're going to compromise what you've been working for. Don't do this. And that's what he will start doing. He'll start finding excuses to fail with the whole coaching. So he could tell himself and tell the coach, see, I tried. Now just leave me alone and let me focus on my career. And he wants to tell his wife as well, because wives, they always know. They have this sense. Like my wife, she always knew, and she kept nagging on my head, go see a doctor, do something. You're killing yourself, until it happened. And I wouldn't listen to her. So what I do with them, first of all, is I do the promise. I make the promise for them that whatever we will do, it will not compromise their career. It will not jeopardize anything. But they need to acknowledge this fact and just surrender for this. Because most of top executives and business people, and they do not have the time to do anything else. They do not have the time to just go and eat healthy or wait for a salad. They just want a quick sandwich. Everything quick. So if I know this because I've been there. So if I could adapt my methods and my way to their way of life and start by tweaking it bit by bit, it works. And this is how I started. And I always start with low-hanging fruit, and the low-hanging fruit that really make a difference with the people around them. So when they are with their family, friends, relatives, they will tell them, there's something different with you. You look healthier, all of these kind. And he starts thinking, it's working. And then his wall. It's harder. And everyone told me, why you want to take this route? But I'm doing it because there's passion involved in this. I'm doing it because I am an entrepreneur. I'm a consultant. I built my empire, and I let everything go because I couldn't take care of it. I did not know that by being selfish, it's the most selfless act. Because if you're selfish, you take care of yourself, then you'll be able to take care of everyone else around you. But being selfless is selfish. So that's the whole thing. I don't know. It makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. It's kind of like when you're on an airplane, right? They always tell you, hey, before you go out and help other people next to you, make sure you put your oxygen mask on first, right? Yeah.
True.
Good. So, and now the question now becomes, how do you find it? So let's say with the clients you work with, because I realize there's some individuals, they just get it right. Just like I know for myself, one of the things I try to have is always have a coach, because it's one of those places where I realize that without accountability, the excuses of, I'll do it, it always pops up, right? Versus if you have someone, that person kind of, it's that nudge that just says, hey, when you're meeting with someone, whether it's weekly, month, whatever, it starts rewiring your thinking, because now okay, I gotta perform. I gotta actually show up to the calls of the meetings to discuss what happened and whether I took action or not, right? So what do you find? Are you finding that as you work with clients, do you find that there are some individuals who they're just practical and they just want it, and then some individuals who they just don't want it at all? What's the distinction are you seeing?
First, they all start by rejecting the whole thing. No one wants to say this. Yes, I'm weak. I need help. No one wants this, especially someone who's on the top of his career. He's sitting in his ivory tower and he does not realize that he needs help. So the first thing is to get them see that they need help, and it's not wrong that they need help. And most of them, they need to maintain low profile and all for their status and their pride and everything, which is understandable. I mean, I would have done the same. But then the second step is exactly what you said. Some of them, and you know it by experience, that some of them are willing to go the extra mile and to do the change, and some other aren't. They just want the excuse to fail more and just to give themselves and the people around them the excuse and just carry on. And I learned by experience that I have so much time, and I cannot just give my effort and my time to everyone. So I would be selective, and I would choose the ones that are really showing good signs of cooperation. I do not give up on everyone from the first time, but at a certain point you gotta choose, and you gotta just choose right, because I need to be able to give all my efforts for my clients, but at the same time I need to also I cannot just go back into overloading myself with work and all, because it doesn't make sense if I'm coaching my clients to take breaks and to work in moderate hours, and I don't do it myself. This is why I have a schedule for myself. I work only 4 days a week. And yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, right? So what is the core premise? So you lead off with health, right? So individuals, when you get in their world, their life, it's mostly around the health aspect of it. So what does your process typically look like? How do you get someone, let's say there's someone who's already maybe say they're working long hours, all these different things. How do you get them to start making those shifts? How do you get them to come to the awareness of like, hey, if you take care of your health, it's going to improve everything else? What is your process for helping someone do that?
That's a good question. I start with health. Actually, the whole process goes around the whole life. It's not only health, it's health, wellness, life, relationships, habits, and everything. But the reason I start with health, because health is the most scary thing. And I'll be honest, you gotta scare them, a bit, so they can so they can do something for their own good. Because if you tell someone, listen, I'm just another coach, I'm gonna give you some exercises, or I'm just gonna talk about habits and stuff, I say, okay, whenever I have time. If you tell him your health is here, it's critical, you need to start with this, then they will get started. So we start with the health, and I have a process. I start with the easiest part, with the what we call the low-hanging fruits, with the health. So it's some habits. It also goes around habits and not around some diet or nutrition. Although it has diet, nutrition involved in it, it has some other life coaching, some other many things. I can go through it now. But it starts with habits, because if you can implement the right habits, you can change the whole lifestyle. But if I just give them a sheet with some instructions and diet on it, I'll be just another person maybe, I don't know, they can get it for free off the internet. Doesn't make sense to charge them premium. So we start with some habits. It could be as simple as drinking water, and how much water are you drinking, and why I should drink half my weight of water in ounces, and what's the whole process. So when you start talking to them, because when you work with executives and entrepreneurs, yes, it's hard to work with them, but at the same time, if you talk if you talk rationally to them in a certain logic, you can get to them. So why I should drink this, why I should have this. Then if you go into breaking the food, and the most important thing is no client wants more work. They do not want work. They want easy stuff. So I have to do all the hard stuff and give it to them. But before give it to them, I owe them the explanation. And most of the time, I just record the video and send it to them whenever they have time. They just see before they sleep or they wake up. And if they have time, we can just do what we're doing now. But we start with the health, with the most basic thing. And then we go into the objective. Because as I said, every person has an objective. And when you start asking the person, why are you doing this? The first 15 times, he's not going to say the real why. Not because he's hiding, because he does not know. So I'll give you an example. I have a very sweet lady I'm working with. She's a client. She's a big time entrepreneur and big shot. And she came to me one day and she's like, listen, Matt, I want to lose some weight. I was like, why? She said, what do you mean why? I need to lose weight. Come on, you're my coach. You shouldn't say why. I said, yeah, but tell me why you want to lose weight. I need to understand why.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I want to look sexy again. I said, that's good, but why? I mean, you're a big shot. You're a CEO. Why do you want to look sexy? And then after 16, 17 whys and getting on her nerves, she was like, because I want my husband to see me again. He's not looking at me anymore. Like, okay, so this is the real reason.
Yeah.
So what I need to work with you is not a nutrition-based thing, or otherwise just go to Atkins or anyone else. I don't care. But what I need to work with you is not on losing weight just for losing weight. Is you need to grab your husband's attention.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a holistic approach. It's not only take this and 1,500 calories per day and do that. It's not that. It includes maybe toning, maybe meditation, maybe being more at home, maybe just going out, the two of you doing something else. Maybe there's something that you are doing that. So it's a full therapy that we do. It's a holistic approach to coaching. So when we start with the most basic thing, just to make the client approve and acknowledge and surrender to the fact that, okay, I'm comfortable now. Then we move to the why, because if the first moment you tell him why, he's gonna think you just knows it. And then when we go there, then it's, I mean, I've had clients for years and they just keep on renewing. And I reach a point, I tell them, please stop renewing. You don't need me anymore. Like, no, we need you. I mean, it's nice to talk to someone, because a lot of times someone needs someone to listen to him. Just sit and just you tapped on a very important point, which is accountability. And everyone needs accountability or an accountability partner. So after a moment, you start behaving as not as his coach, but as his accountability partner. Because he cannot rely on his wife or on her husband or on relatives or partner as accountability partner, because they can just cheat around and but as a stranger or as a coach, they cannot do this. There is a certain pride involved.
Yeah. And that's what I love about accountability. And that's one thing I'm learning for myself as well, too. It's one of those places where I try to have, because I've always tried to figure out how do I get myself to do things right. So when when you have to do something different, learn a different habit, something, there's one way where you say, let me just go try to get myself to do it. And hopefully I stick with it. And those things never tend to last, versus if you just find other people who are already on that same path and just say, how do I surround myself with them? And how do we kind of we're on the same path? How do we get together and structure ourselves in this way? It all of a sudden the results, it happens a lot more effortlessly. Plus you even have more fun, because now you're not trying to figure this thing out on your own. There's someone who you can bounce ideas off of and who's helping support you. But also at the time, there's some type of strategic place where you guys meet some time, right?
True. So true. Yeah.
Powerful, powerful. So just a couple of more questions before we end
Sure.
there. So the first one is, so do you believe that it's possible? Because what you're ultimately doing with individuals is getting them to the place where they're not, they're taking care of the most important things, which most likely means if you're giving energy to something, it means that you're taking energy away from something else, right? So most of our clients, it seems like they're already successful and they perceive that the reason why they're successful is because they're working, they're putting all these long hours, working on business and all these different things while not cutting time from these other things. So do you believe that it's still possible to work less, do less, and work on your health, do these different things, and then still keep that same level of a success?
Sure, absolutely. That's an excellent question. Absolutely, because you see, when you work, you reach a certain, there is a threshold whereby if you go above this, you are not productive anymore. I mean, you can work for 5, 6 hours a day, 7, 8, or 9 hours a day, but more, if you work more than this, you're just exhausting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I do with my clients. I show them that the extra time they're putting here, if they take this time from here and they put it somewhere else, they could get a better return on investment. So if you talk in business language, it's like this pie, and if you keep digging the same slice of this pie, you reach a point where you're putting the same effort, but you're having that much of a bite. So your return on investment is really low. Whereby if you start with on the bottom of something else and you're still fresh, you can maintain, you can level. It's just leveling the whole thing. So what I get them to do is the classic wheel of life exercise, whereby I let them draw the wheel and I let them just divide it into pies. Because I mean, every coach believes that each client is unique, so you cannot just do it and give it to them. So when they start dividing the pies and naming the pies, so one is relationship, the second one is work, the third one is going out, the fourth one is just having fun maybe, or socializing, whatever matters to them, just to keep a certain balance. And when they start grading themselves, you're not grading, they are grading themselves. He will go first of all, work, it's a 10, and he's proud of himself. But later on, when he reaches socializing and everything else, and he goes like 1 or 2, he will see how the balance is not right. And as a business person, he or she, they realize that, okay, the balance is not right. And I'm putting too much effort here, but the return I'm getting is a little. So there should be something I need to do. And this is when I said, I work with them, and the promise is they will not compromise their career. There is no compromise. It's just, I'm going to do everything for you. All you need to do is just implement it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot do it on your behalf. You have to do it. But everything else, I will do it for you. And I will do it in a very scientific way that it's believable. It's not just promise in the air, or showing someone with muscles and six packs and telling him you can get this in 9 weeks. Come on. I've been trying this for 20 years. It doesn't work. So it's a very scientific approach, and just showing them that, yes, balance is everything. Everything in life is balance. Just like at your work, just like in your department, and whatever you do, you need to maintain certain balance, and whether it's in production or finance or anything, you need balance. So why not in your life?
Yeah, powerful stuff, Matthew. Powerful stuff. Hey, so if someone wanted to reach out and connect with you, what's the best way for them to do so?
Best way is through my website. It's Matthew Korban. That's KORBAN.com. So MatthewKorban.com. And on the website, they can schedule an appointment with me. They can check my Facebook, which is also Matthew Korban, on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or anywhere. And now with the whole crazy COVID that's happening and that's hitting everyone around us, it's somehow making us stronger. But I think the humans are an amazing race, and the fact that we came all together and we're giving back is making us all stronger. This is why I'm giving lots of things like added value and stuff, just to give back to everyone, because I believe if each one will do a little bit, we will create a big wave of positivity. So if anyone needs to get in touch with me now, he can get loads of add-ons.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, awesome, Matthew. And guys, if you're watching this on the live or the replay, I will have the links to connect with Matthew, his website, right either above or below the video, so you can click and get connected right to him. Hey, Matthew. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for making the time to be here and share this stuff with the community today. Really appreciate it. Do you have any final thoughts before we end?
I just want to say, keep on moving, move, do not sit there. And whenever you feel you're sitting or you can't move or you're just too tired, ask for help, whether from anyone who's close to you or anyone around you, just ask for help, but just keep on moving.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Well, hey, thanks again, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Thank you.